What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. In this one, we are talking about the next update coming to New World, which will probably be out by the time you guys check out this video. It was supposed to be out Tuesday on the 28th or the 29th, and they pushed it back to Wednesday the 30th because they found a bug that they wanted to fix. But this is going to talk about the March update, Heart of Madness. This is weird calling it the March update since it's at the end of March. You would think it'd be more like an April update, but let's jump into it. So again, we have a long video ahead of us. We'll try to cut it short and just talk about things that are the most important, which we'll have listed here in the front. And then maybe we'll go into a little bit of the small changes. We won't talk about things that change from the PTR to the live service though. So it says they're going to be introducing the new Blunderbuss, the new weapon, the new expedition, and more. This is kind of weird wording here. The main storyline, final quest, or finale quest, and Tempest Heart expedition. It's kind of weird saying that it's the finale quest when there's still more to go. Is what happens after it? Will it be another main story, or is this really like the end? You beat Isabella and now we're just being adventurers on the island, which would be really cool. We just got rid of the story altogether and focused on adventuring and exploring the world. So it says the main story quest line picks up as you pursue Isabella back to Shattered Mountain. The final quest, the Heart of the Tempest, is given by Iseult Meredith, located at Mountain Home Outpost in Shattered Mountain. Additional repeatable quests can be taken from Mara Rosa in the cathedral just south of the expedition entrance. The final showdown against Isabella has arrived. As you delve deep into the Tempest Heart expedition, pursue the Tempest into a corrupted dimension of reality. Through the twisted capital city of Mirkgard, discover the secrets of her past while you dive deeper into her corrupted mind. The Tempest Heart is an endgame expedition for 5 players, recommended for level 60 players with gear scores between 550 and 570. So there are a lot of people that are above that, but it's nice to give those who are not a chance to get there and do some things. Of course, I got some screenshots, and if you guys watched the event they had a couple of last week, I think, or a couple of weeks ago, where some of the streamers ran through Mirkgard. You see kind of how that looks. This guy looks pretty cool. New weapon, Blunderbuss. The Blunderbuss is a ranged weapon that offers high mobility coupled with potent close to mid-range damage. It's the first weapon to scale on strength and intelligence, making it a good combination for bruiser or mage builds. Adventurers will be able to progress through 2 weapon mastery trees, allowing the player to choose between 2 distinct playstyles. I was like, weapon. The containment tree is all about closing the gap and unloading hot lead into your enemy's face. Conversely, the Chaos Tree focuses on keeping your distance and bombarding areas with explosive AoE damage. Alongside the release of the Blunderbuss weapon itself, we're also releasing a new Legendary Weapon Quest series. Upon reaching level 60 and the maximum skill level with the new firearm, players should seek out Wayne Tang's Shi and Ebonscale Reach Settlement to start this epic endeavor. So I really like the Blunderbuss. If you guys haven't seen my video, I posted on the Blunderbuss saying this is my boomstick on the thumbnail. You can check that guys out. Check that out. I like it. I think it has some good potential. I'm a strength, dexterity kind of player. Mostly strength because I kind of focus on weapons that you can scale off of strength more. So the Blunderbuss is really going to be good in my kit, I think, as I put it together. And I don't know if I'm going to, what I'll have it with, but I had a lot of fun comboing some stuff down, and being a solo player in this game, you're going to come across some times where you're just going to have a bunch of mobs on you, and some of those abilities are really good to taking out multiple people. It's also a really good gun to have, like, if you're going to be doing party play, because it does have some abilities that buff other players, which is kind of cool. World Experience, World Editions rewarding exploration. New experiences have been added across the world for players to discover. I feel like, they could have been adding this already, but I made that video about its New World. Is it too late for New World? And I had some ideas, and it just seems like a lot of the stuff is coming in here, especially if you look at the roadmap they made, where they have like new actual events in place, and now it looks like we're gonna have some actual collectible things that we can go around and find in the world. So we have world painting, vista views. 2 easels can be found in each territory. Upon interacting with these easels, players will be given a painting for the view of their house. If a player loses their painting, they can require it by visiting the same easel again 24 hours later. Rafflebones, the loot collector. Rafflebones rummages around Aeternum for lost treasures and goods. He will spawn all around the map at various levels in every territory. When players encounter Rafflebones, they will have 45 seconds to kill him in order to get rewards, or else he'll flee. Players will always be rewarded a named weapon. Additionally, level 60 players will be given Obsidian Gypsum on kill of any level. Rafflebones that are found in zones that go above level 60 will award level 60 players 500 Humble Shards. Stinky the Hunter. Stinky the legendary hunter can be found wandering around the swamps of Weaver's Fen throughout the day, while at night he retreats to his humble abode. I'm glad they're playing with that daytime, nighttime aspect of it. Stinky can drop 3 named items for levels 30 players: Stinky's Keepsake, Stinky's Sharpshooter, and Stinky's Hatchet. It'd be cool if we can take those and actually use these named items, or I'm sure going to have unique looks as skins. So hopefully that's something they put in the future where we can use weapons and stuff as skins for our actual weapons, so it can still retain some use in the game. The Forgotten Yeti. A population of Yeti didn't get the memo that the winter convergence has passed and can be found wandering the frozen wasteland of the Great Cleave. These Yetis drop level 45 standard elite weapons. Roadside Encounters. New random roadside encounters can be found alongside routes in Weaver's Fen and Restless Shores. I wonder what those entail. They probably mentioned it in the video, which I have not had a chance to go through and look at. Unbound Island. Revamp the layout and encounter experience for Unbound Island and Cutlass Keys. Go forth and uncover the curse of Benjamin Boatswain's ill-gotten treasure for early level 30 players. And Andromedus. Revamp the layout and encounter experience for Andromedus and Weaver's Fen. Blight continues to spread from Lepus, threatening to consume Eternum for mid-level 30 players. Out in the open world, they've doubled the storage bonus for all tiers of storage chests. Chests that used to provide 200 weight of bonus storage now provides 400, and etc. Adjusted the description on the storage chest to better indicate the benefit they provide. They adjusted the description on trophies to better clarify the actual benefit. For the starting beach experience in Windsward, the Watcher now offers players a choice of 4 weapons from a weapon rack to better suit their playstyle. Players can choose between a warhammer, fire staff, bow, or hatchet. Each weapon also comes with chest armor, light healing potions, and some rations. Nice. Some of the new player experience is getting a little bit better. Durability loss has been updated. Now only your equipped items will take durability loss when you die. Territory storage. They removed the cost associated with moving items between territory storage. Woo! Your faction no longer needs to own both territories in order to transfer items between your storage. Good change. Good change. Player-to-player collision. Player-to-player collision removed from open world expeditions and invasions. Yeah, another good change. I've seen so many people complain about this one. Fast travel is now more responsive when traveling shorter distances. Okay. Expeditions. Updated queue requirements for expeditions to require only 1 person at the entrance, allowing the other members to enter from their current location in the world. Fixed an issue where boss music would stop playing after a party wipe in the Dynasty Shipyard expedition, and updated expedition victory banners to play unique sound effects. And it would be cool if I can just run that solo. So I wonder if that means that I can still, if one person can enter it and they can do solo runs in there. I'm not quite sure. I've heard, I haven't tried yet. So I've only heard that you had to have a party before you can enter an expedition. Notable world bug fixes. Fix an issue with Eden Grove faction missions in progress that cannot be turned in after a new build was released. Added the active bonuses section to the faction mission flyout. Fixed an issue where players can't accept certain community goals after they refresh on the project board. A fix to address crashes in the objective system. An auto grant to faction advancement quests when players switch factions. An issue where gatherables didn't always sync properly to the client. An issue where the Nukaminish and Barkamedes quest pins appear off the side of the map if they are unpinned and repinned. They reduced difficulty in early game points of interest and main story quest path through level 15. They've adjusted certain enemies that were the wrong gameplay tier for their location, and adjusted the number of AI and some points of interest to prevent backspawning and solo play. Oh man, the spawning. Fixed several areas where players could drown on land. Still got those areas. Tier 4 housing added to Reekwater and Ebonscale Reach settlements. General fixes for collision, bad death planes, camp placement and allowable areas, holes in the world, floating objects, flickering or missing textures, AI and gatherables under terrain or cliff. For quest updates, they have new soloable quest options are available for the MSQ to allow players to progress without running certain expeditions. I am not through the Lazarus, I think it is, and Restless Shores. So that expedition, I have to do that one yet. So hopefully they'll have that one updated where I can do that. I wonder how far this is going to go for the solo quest now, because I'm behind on my MSQs. New quests leading players to the legendary Blunderbuss weapon reward have been added. Can't wait to do that. New faction missions targeting corruption breaches can now be found in all zones. Starting beaches were updated and weapon racks added to give players more choices on their preferred combat direction. Added gypsum as a reward to level 60 quest in Shattered Mountain, Reekwater, and Ebon Scalar Reach. Added map pins for trial quest NPCs for the faction advancement quest. Removed the level threshold requirements from main story quest. Okay. Updated the intro to factions to be more streamlined and include new map overhead icons for NPCs. And moved the NPC for the down payment quest away from the corrupted portal spawn location. That's good. Alright, so we have some notable fixes. I like the quest updates. Those are really good. Let's see what the notable fixes are. Various issues where the NPC voice off was being cut off and had echoes. I wonder if they just saying a cut off in the mid-sentence or they just finished one word. Where quest objectives would loop and not allow players to complete the quests. Resetting a quest prevented the completion of quests. Powder kegs from being placed in shivering timbers. Tigers despawning. Expeditions orbs failed to reward stuff. 2 quests getting simultaneously. VFX will be active for all players on certain quests. Where quests can have blink objectives involving the Destiny Unearthed quest. Increase the size of hitboxes for malign nodes. Fix an issue where quest items were not collectible and objective markers were missing in Ixia's Blessing. An issue that resulted in inconsistent formatting in the HUD and journal for quest. Fix description for several quest items that were incorrect and confusing. Fix issues where players would collide with invisible objects at Daughterwell and First Light. Issues where the quest descriptions didn't match the actual POI names. Clarify the requirement for the Beautiful Stench quest, and fix an issue where objectives on a sub-quest would carry over to the next sub-quest. There's not really a lot of issues compared to other quests or other patches, so that's pretty cool. Of course, this is the big patch, so the next patch is going to be all the bug fixes and stuff that come with this patch. So we have some AI updates coming on here where they've updated AI target acquisition in the open world to avoid targeting players who are not actively engaged in a fight. The initial target acquisition remains unchanged with the AI attacking the first player they detect. Once an AI has their initial target, they will only evaluate additional players if they take an aggressive act attacking the AI, taunting, healing, and player fighting the AI, etc. So that means that you won't be able to chain a bunch of enemies into a person. I've done that sometimes by accident, and I've always gone back to make sure I help the person that's getting attacked fight because it was my fault that they got caught up in that. But now I don't got to worry about it. I can just keep running. Expedition and Invasion and Outposts Rush AI do not use these new target acquisition rules. Those AI will acquire targets as they have in the past. They've introduced a grace period to AI aggro on spawn. This will prevent AI from aggroing on players until 5 seconds after their spawn begins or until they are damaged. This delay affects AI that spawn naturally in the open world. Expedition AI and AI spawned by events such as corrupted breaches are unaffected. Fixing an issue causing AI to target players who use the taunt ability just prior to entering death's door. Fixing an issue preventing AI from targeting another player after the target vaulted over an object. So we have some general AI updates. The Varangian Knights, the Russian Vikings, who we have not heard anything about. They fixed an issue causing status effect visual effects from debuffs and damage over time abilities to show up at their feet. An issue where they weren't properly gripping their weapons, and a visual issue with the scout's armor. For the Ancient Guardian, they've updated the sound effects players can hear when an Ancient Guardian revives after dying, and an issue causing the Ancient Guardian mage's arcane bubble spell to not be visible. They had a bubble. For the Invasion Commander, they fixed an issue causing the Invasion Commander to not deal damage to structures. For a Dynasty Summoner, they fixed an issue with Summoner's ambient animations that will show his magical swords floating several feet below him. For the Corrupted Villager, they removed bleed from triple stab and charge attack. For the Timberwolf, They removed direct damage component of the grit-enabled hamstring attack so that it now only applies bleed. For the Grey Wolf, they removed bleed and grit from the lunge attack and adjusted the lunge attack to reduce the frequency of it translating past the player on hit. I don't think the wolves really had any issues. The main issues with the wolves were that you could barely hit them. Like you would swing and like your weapon just seemed like it would just go right through them. And that's still kind of an issue for like enemies that are like at your waist or lower than your waist. So I hope that's something that they fix eventually in the future. For the Weathered Wretched, they removed pushback on the projectile attack, and for the Downed Grenadier, they removed full body reaction from bound projectile. For Amarine Excavation, Simon Gray. Simon finally figured out how to get that blasted cage off his head. He now has a unique model and coloring. This is something I mentioned in that video. It's why does he have the cage on his head? He just went in there as a person. Why does he look like one of the giant? I said that. Garden of Genesis. Blighted Greenskeeper. Fixing issue causing the Blighted Greenskeeper to sometimes kill players who are behind her boulders. Fixing issue causing the Blighted Greenskeeper's group wipe ability to kill players who are already in death's door. Fixing the issue causing players who were downed by the Blighted Greenskeeper's group wipe ability to permanently slowed. Fixing an issue where the animation for interacting with the exhaust sapling in Garden of Genesis could stutter and fail randomly. Look, guys, I will work with you guys. You can hire me on as like a help developer, a slide developer. I don't know, an associate developer, and we will work on these things together, and we will make a great game. You can hire me. Send me a message. I got you. Mutators and mutated AI. Difficulty of elite named AI have been tuned down while bosses have been tuned up. Tooltips for major curses no longer appear on mutator difficulties less than 9. Desiccated. Fixed an issue that would sometimes stop combustible chains from continuing to chain if there were valid targets. Fixed an issue allowing combustible to deal damage to invulnerable AI. Fixed an issue causing the combustible timer to show the wrong text when hovered over. Eternal Paranoid no longer triggers on damage over time effects. Now for combat, the general combat updates, the road speed boost buff is now applied to players using emotes that allow movement. Yes, now we can use our clippity clop riding the horse emote on the road and actually have a speed buff. It will still be slower than walking, but we can now have it on there. Fixing the issue where the sheath and unsheath animations for weapons would loop if the player started or stopped moving while one was playing. And fixing the issue where the player's weapon could remain equipped instead of sheathing when in prone position. For ammo updates, the infinite ammo tier 1 flint ammo is being replaced by an infinite resource. Players can now fire ranged weapons without equipping ammo, muskets, bow, and blunderbuss. If no ammo is equipped, an ammo counter will not be displayed on the reticle and the weapon will still be allowed to fire. If players have a higher tier ammo equipped in the game mode that provides infinite ammo, such as Outposts Rush, an infinity icon will appear on the reticle instead to distinguish it from having no ammo equipped. I can only assume, well, it says previously Flint, so nobody's really making Flint ammo anymore. I guess they feel like it was a wasted resource. Flint's really just used for camps. I wonder if they'll take that out of using camps also. Like, just get rid of Flint altogether in the game, like for uses. T2 Iron is going to do 1.05 damage. Steel will do 1.10 times the damage. Star Metal will do 1.15 times the damage. And Orichalcum will do 1.2 times damage, making it still the strongest of them all. Flint arrows have been removed from the game due to the addition of infinite ammo. Any Flint arrows previously created will become iron arrows. Nice. Additionally, any Flint arrows posted on the trading post will be canceled and returned as iron arrows to the player who posted the listing. Ammo weight has been removed. Increased maximum stat count from ammo from 500 to 1,000. So now you just have ammo in your bags and has no weight. That's kind of sweet. Fixing an issue where bow status effects could not be extended via perks or other bonuses. For the fire staff, they fixed an issue that prevented players from interrupting repeated light attacks with a block. Burning updated the burning debuff applied by several fire ability staff abilities, so they increased the damage tick rate from 1.5 seconds to 1 second and decreased maximum stacks from 10 to 5. Increased damage per stack from 3% weapon damage per tick to 6%. Updated tooltips for all affected abilities. Burnout. This ability now ends early if it traverses into deep water. Flamethrower. Accelerating Flamethrower. Item perk fixed an issue where this perk did not properly scale its potency with gear score. For the Great Axe, one of my favorite weapons, Bloodlust adjusted detection volume to prevent exploits between dueling players. And Charge. This ability now ends early if it traverses into deep water. It was a good... I don't like that change. What is deep water? Is it the water where your head is underneath? Or water where like it just slows you down? Because that was a good way to get through that deep water. Raging Torrent. Refreshing Torrent fixed an issue where the final attack of Raging Torrent was not triggering the cooldown reduction from this perk. Feral Rush. Energizing Feral Rush fixed an issue where this perk would not apply the stamina gain on both hits of Feral Rush. Feral Rush now ends early if it should... Dang it, don't want anybody getting an advantage running through deep water. For the Heavy Gauntlet, they fixed an issue where... For the Ice Gauntlet, they fixed an issue where heavy attack could be charged with insufficient mana and a light attack would be performed at the end of the charge. The functionality has been changed so that attempting to charge without sufficient mana will instead trigger a light attack immediately. They fixed an issue that prevented players from interrupting repeated light attacks with a block. Entombed. Healing Tomb fixed an issue that prevented this perk from functioning properly if the player exited the entombed state by dodging. Heavy Freeze fixed a typo in the description. Ice Spikes fixed an issue where the Mighty Spike visuals would not appear in some circumstances. And Wind Chill fixed an issue where this ability could trigger the Defiant Freeze passive even when cancelled. Looking at the Orb of Protection, they fixed a text error with the tooltip that stated it healed for 10% weapon damage when it actually healed for 8%. Actual healing values were not changed, only the text was corrected. For Sacred Protection, fixed an issue which causes passive to deal durability damage to the equipped weapon when swapping. Spirits United fixed an issue where it caused this passive to deal durability damage to the equipped weapon when swapping. Sacred Ground, Blessed has been upgraded. The Blessed part, changed the name of this upgrade to be Anointed so as not to be confused with the item perk of the same name, and fixed an issue where this upgrade provided healing through Ice Gauntlet's Entombed ability. For basic attacks, light and heavy attacks can now be cancelled by self-targeted heals, and they fixed an issue that allowed light attacks to fire at a faster rate while holding the block button. Divine Embrace fixed an issue where the channeling UI element did not match the actual casting time of the ability. For the Musket with Shooter Stance, they fixed an issue where Shooter Stance was increasing the meter for the centered mutator if the player entered and exited the stance without ability going on cooldown. It will now only increment of the meter after the first shot is fired while in Shooter Stance. For Marksman, they fixed an issue where this upgrade was not functioning properly. Back It Up fixed an issue where this passive was disabled while using Sticky Bomb. Critical Reload fixed an issue that caused the sound effects for this passive to play incorrectly. Improved reliability of hit counting. For the Rapier, Tondo fixed an issue where using evade to cancel Tondo could result in the damage being dealt without showing the VFX. For Flurry, they fixed an issue where this ability was unable to be cancelled using Flachet. For Flachet, this ability now ends early if traverses into deep water. Momentum fixed an issue where the visual effects of this passive would persist even if the Rapier was sheathed or swapped. For the Sword and Shield, Leadership fixed an issue which causes passive to deal durability damage to the equipped weapon when swapping. With Leaping Strike, the ability now ends early if it traverses into deep water. I'm leaping over the water, so Counterattack fixed an issue that caused this ability to stop functioning and displays zeros for all of its values. Void Gauntlet, Heavy Attack fixed an issue where heavy attack could be charged with insufficient mana and a light attack would be performed at the end of the charge. It has been changed, so attempting to charge without the right mana will trigger a light attack immediately. For the Warhammer, the Path of Destiny, Stimulated Reduction updated description to specify that the cooldown reduction only occurs on the first 4 enemies hit by this skill. For the Mighty Gavel, Justice for All fixed an issue that caused the second hit to refresh the cooldown of the ability. Outnumbered fixed an issue that prevented this passive from functioning when its conditions were met. Now for items, there's a good number of issues here and combat fixes, some game mode updates. For the item updates, we're just going to look at some of the damage ward perks, because those actually affect your gameplay a little bit. The Abyssal Ward adjusted damage absorption provided by this perk from 2.5%, 3.5%, 5, and 6 to 3, 4, 5, and 6. Only Tier 1 and Tier 2 absorption was changed. Thrust/Strike Ward increased damage absorption from 2.5, 3, 3.75 to 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pretty good. Strike Ward fixed an issue where this perk incorrectly stated it reduced lightning damage. Arcane, Ice, Fire, Nature, and Lightning Ward increased damage absorption to 3%, 4%, 5%, and 6%. They've fixed an issue where weapon passive abilities such as Sacred Protection was being removed when consuming potions after the weapon was sheathed. And for the Bloodletting Ring perk, they increased bleeding duration bonus from 5 to 15% to 10% to 30%. For the Burning Ring perk, it's 10 to 30% duration bonus increase. For the Divine Amulet perk, it's an issue where the perk bonus was being removed on death, so you'll still get the bonus when you die. For the Plentiful Shield, Plentiful Arrows, updated description for these perks to add clarity and a previously unlisted 2-second cooldown. Retaliate, this perk has been reworked from the giving a damage bonus for 3 hits after being hit 3 times to giving a 2-second damage bonus after getting hit 1 time. This will not refresh while already active. We have some general combat bug fixes. They fixed an issue where a player could drop below 0 mana. A lot of these are just kind of like visual effects and sound effects. So there is an issue here where incoming healing efficiency modification was incorrectly being capped at 50% instead of 100%. So they fixed that issue, but a lot of these are really just sound effects and visual effects. So we're not going to go too deep into those. For the game mode updates, game mode items such as the Outposts Rush consumables will now auto-equip to your hotbar when purchased, providing there is an empty slot available. Players can now queue for wars and invasions from their map. It's pretty cool. Elite boss arenas increase the quantity and quality of rewards that players will receive from reward caches granted from elite boss arenas. Successfully completing a boss arena now rewards 50 Umbral Shards. So they're getting people back into the arenas. I remember mentioning that also, that people weren't doing arenas anymore. So now they're trying to figure out a way to get people back to playing that content. And this is a way to get them to go back in there by rewarding them with Umbral Shards and more gear. War. Defenders will no longer be able to respawn on points A, B, and C. They can only respawn inside of their fort. Increase the quantity and quality of rewards that players will receive from the reward caches granted from War. Invasion. Increase the quantity and quality of rewards that players will receive from reward caches granted from Invasion. For Outposts Rush, they remove the downstate from Outposts Rush. Players will now immediately die when hitting 0 health. Credit from killing a player now goes to the player who kills the enemy instead of the player who put them into Death's Door, because there is no Death's Door. Players will now receive score credit for contesting a control point. Teams can now see the enemy progress toward a corrupted brute token on the map. And the Outpost Rush tutorial pop-up for building gates has been restored. It's a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of good changes there in the gameplay. Economy, crafting, and rewards. Economy players will get half their original purchase costs when abandoning a house. And the notification when selling some items from a multi-item contract has been restored. For crafting, they've corrected the Buttercream Pudding category to attribute feuds. The amount of materials required to craft elite arena tuning orbs has been reduced. They now require 3 runestone instead of 5, and 3 of the orb-specific materials. Firefox, Fancy Shell, or Glowing Swamp Moss also instead of 5. Tooltips from crafting mods have been updated to show the proper ranges based on gear score. The crafting mod selector pop-up is now sorted alphabetically. The new perks and new perk items have been added to the world. Fixed an issue where the upgrade option was erroneously available for tier 4 items. Fixed the description text for the Guardian's insignias. Fixed an issue where some of the potions didn't properly apply crafting bonuses that scale with higher or lower tier ingredients. And Shard of Lithomancy and Keeper's Pendant now give a maximum of 25 of their stat instead of 30. Under the rewards category, harvest log and mine to recover hidden stashes of earthly rewards. Hey, a new reward type, sweet. Elemental Mote Coin and Diamond Gypsum are now waiting to be uncovered as you gather on Eternum. So now you'll be able to get our Juniper Berries and our earthly rewards. Nice. That's 6 Diamond Gypsum, hopefully. Elite Boss Arenas keys may now drop from enemies in the surrounding elite zones. Nice. Fix an issue where expeditions could improperly drop loot intended for areas outside of the expedition. Hope you can sell those elite boss arena keys. Fix an issue causing the ancient T5 musket to sometimes drop from angry earth enemies. And an issue causing invasion weapons to drops to be exceedingly rare. They should now be significantly more likely. This change also makes the named weapon drops from invasions very slightly more likely. For gear and loot, there's a lot of visual issues here being fixed, and incorrect icons for a defiled void gauntlet, issue where they're reinforced steel, proper categories, proper names. Nothing really huge that actually affects the weapon. There is right here a fixed a bug that was scaling gear score from expertise level from gear rewarded from the fishing quest. So that won't happen anymore. UX, UI, and social quality of life improvements. So a lot of these are just like they've updated the main story icons to be more prominent in the compass. I thought it was pretty good as they had it now. They've added a header for MSQ stuff, added a guide tab to the journal for fast travel, housing, and fishing. Updated the fast travel to more resemble a spirit shrine instead of the 2 arrows, which was fine. They didn't have to do that. Wasted time, I think. Added a banner for unlocking fast travel at a spirit shrine in the HUD when it's discovered. Could have skipped that one also. Updated, activated, and undiscovered fast travel icons on the status map. Updated spirit shrine flyouts in the map to display the name of the shrine and convey its fast travel status. Added a loading tip. Added a loading tip for repair kits. Fixed various grammatical errors and inconsistency, capitalization across the UI. The progress bar above the always available time projects has been removed, since these missions do not have a maximum progress. And players' average gear score now appears on the player's tooltip in Warboard. Oh man, toxic. Oh yeah, we're not taking that guy. Look at that gear score. Woo, woo. Not taking them. Only want the best of the best. If you don't have 600 gear score, do not sign up. Messaging, fix an issue where inventory notification display inconsistently for equipping and unequipping weapons during combat. The messaging, there's a lot of issues here I don't really care about, and I don't think a lot of you guys would care about. Usability, fix an issue in the storage set where players could accidentally open reward containers while holding down shift key. An issue where players in an expedition or outpost rush could not see help chat messages from players in the open world. For audio, some of the music tracks that didn't play, they fixed those. And then we have some PTR notes. Like I said, we're not going to go into those because those were notes that kind of changed during the PTR. Like stuff that was happening in the PTR that didn't work, they fixed them. And we're not talking about that. But this is kind of a cool update all around. Friday, I will be playing the game. Again, we'll be back on Friday streaming. And we'll be going to level up our Blunderbuss. I think it's going to be our main focus Friday. So if you guys want to come out, it's on Death Monkey XL on Twitch. I'll be playing New World Friday night, Eastern time. Probably like 8, 9 p.m., something like that. All right, guys, until the next video, I will see you guys later because this is a good update. I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys are going to say about it. Let me know in the comments. And that's it.